Hey guys, I'm Jacob. This is the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today we're gonna wrap up our comparison video of the Skrama, the BK20, the Dark Timber Kodiak, and the Esee Junglas. First, real quick before we get into it, please check out my website, beachandtactical.com. I make the most customizable rifle and knife slings on the market. I also have some handmade fire kits on there, as well as some pouches that I designed that are made by my buddy Andy from Gadsden Dynamics in Ohio. Phenomenal Altoids tin pouches. Anyways, also this channel is also funded by brand ambassadorship with Grunt Style. So if you like cool patriotic clothing and lifetime guarantees, check them out through my link below, and I'll put a coupon code for 10% off, and also directly through Patreon. So, you know, this channel is not monetized at all, and that's how I make money. What do you think, buddy? Alright guys, so for anybody wondering, I packed these blades out in my Hidden Woodsman pack. I absolutely love this pack, and what I'm sitting on is the butt tarp. That is Bushcraft Utility Tiny Tarp. It's made by Tent Smiths, and it was designed by Michael Rocchetti. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a link to him and to Tent Smiths below. But to start out, I'm down here. I'm actually at the edge, probably not. I'm on the edge of my property, kind of. Most of this is my neighbor's property. But let me show you around. Goofy? Oh boy. So the first knife that we're going to talk about today is the Esee Junglas. And what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to talk about kind of how the knife performs for small tasks. I'm going to go a little bit into the chopping competition, how it did there. And I'm just going to give you kind of my subjective review on the blade. To start out, you guys are probably all familiar with the Esee Junglas. In this group of tools, this is certainly the oldest design, and many people would say that it's getting long in tooth. Comes with a great Kydex sheath. Now, why do I say that it could be getting long in tooth? Well, the Esee Junglas is solid under the handle scales, which makes it the heaviest knife of this group. And that weight, when it comes to chopping, is not forward on the blade, so it's really not helping you chopping there. Oddly enough, the blade's still tied for first place in our chopping competition, so clearly it's not hindered too much, and the balance being back further makes the blade feel lighter in hand. When doing small chores with the Esee Junglas, I have no issues. I've done all kinds of stuff, notches and squaring stuff out, and when people talk about fine tasks with the blade, I don't know if they're talking about carving Celtic runes into wood or what, but any one of these knives can perform any fine task that you need to do very easily. The Junglas here, since I have knives with choils and without choils, and I do tend to prefer having a choil, I do tend to choke up on this Junglas If you have bigger, meatier fingers than me, that might end up being a problem, but for me, it works out just fine. Now, I am actually doing the Junglas first for a reason. Some internet wizard goofball mentioned that the Esee Junglas is a fragile knife, and everybody knows that, and it's not tough enough for wood's tasks. And it's just such a monstrously stupid statement. He says everybody knows that. Such a stupid statement that I feel like it needs to be talked about a little bit. If you watch this channel, you have seen what the Esee Junglas 2 had to go through first before it broke, which it snapped the edge here, and then I continued using it through batoning, chopping, and all kinds of abuse with Justin Vidito, who you probably know from Alone Season 2 on the History Channel. And basically, we could not break the knife by hand, even though it was already cracked from a 6-pound splitting maul, or an 8-pound, and I had to murder the blade. Here's how that went. So, there are certain things that you can do to see if someone's completely talking out of their butt and has absolutely no experience with what they're talking about. If anybody tells you that the Esee Junglas or any of the Esees are fragile, without a doubt, you can automatically write them off as being ignorant and as being a bad source of information. There are no magic tricks here. You can see exactly how these knives perform on my channel, what they go through before they break. There's absolutely nothing fragile about the Esee Junglas 2. So let's talk about kind of like overall value. These go from about $140 to $160. You get this sheath. You get nice retention. Mine has a little bit of rattle. Most people's do not. I heard that what some people do is they stick a foamy earplug up in here and it solves that issue. I don't think I would do that because when I wear it, it never really rattles. So you can turn retention up or down with this guy right here. So turning it all the way up, it's pretty hard to get out. Nice snap, locks in. Turn it all the way down, pops out real easy. I keep it somewhere in between. Super secure though, especially if you lock that all the way down. This knife sheath, I would say, rivals any of the sheaths here, to include the one from Grizzly Outdoors on the Kodiak. It doesn't rattle, but it is better in some ways. But the Esee sheath is so nice because it's so modular and it comes at such an incredible price point. So let's talk about being $140 to $160. People typically look at the Junglas as being a little bit more expensive knife, and it isn't. The fact that you get this sheath, which one of the big strengths is the modularity here, and a made-in-America blade from a smaller company with the way that Esee handles their warranties, and with how consistent their heat treat is, the Esee Junglas is a phenomenal deal, guys. It's really great, and you can get aftermarket anything for it. You want grit scales? Take your pick in color. You want a new sheath? Take your pick in Kydex bender. My main guy is Doug Wilson at Yellow Hawk Custom Kydex, and I'll throw a link to him in the link below. But unless you buy the knife without a sheath, I don't see replacing this thing, guys. I mean, it's really a great sheath. I should have put one of my Beach and Tactical Sear R&R pouches on here, and I didn't even think about it until just now. But all in all, guys, this knife does fine work great. No problem whatsoever. The pine that I have out here isn't as dry as I would like it to be to show you really nice feather sticks. I had to just whip it out real quick, but it was really just I'm not using it for anything. It's really just a demonstration piece for this video, so I didn't really care that much. The Esee Junglas, tied for winner in the chopping competition, and it's been around for a long time. Got a big company to stand behind it. It's a win-win-win. You can get it in a few different colors to include high-vis, which I would like very much. In fact, I think I'm going to try and get most of my future Esees in high-vis. But, guys, it is absolutely great. Now, if I was going to say I want to change one thing, yeah, I'd put a little choil right here. People get weird about choils. I don't really get it. They're like, oh, you're losing blade length. Well, no, you're not. Okay, if I lose this much of the blade, what would I have used that blade for anyways? Now I can choke up closer, and it's silly. But I would like a Junglas with a choil. Obviously, with the price of the Junglas, if you really want that, you can either make it happen or find someone else who can. Hey guys, so next up, we'll talk about the Becker BK20. It's virtually identical to the BK29 in practice. This is the Boondock Bowie, or Bundock or something. This one was sent in by a friend of mine. He stripped the finish, as you can see, did a nice bluing on it. Where to start? This knife was a limited production. I think it was $200, and K-Bar would give you a couple other knives that weren't good sellers, like a BK5 or something. And it chops great. Fine work, it will do, but I don't like it as much. If you put your finger too far forward on here, you're not really going to get any forgiveness. That could kind of ruin a trip in a bad situation. But, you know, whatever. The sheath is acceptable. At this price point, it's kind of disappointing if you're really paying $200+ for the knife, regardless of freebies they give you. Made in China. You know, it's okay-ish. So for whatever the BK20 lacks, it makes up for in spades with style. Talk about a cool blade. It's got some power and authority behind it when you're chopping. It takes an edge nice. I'll never get to do a destruction test on one, but I have no doubt that it's tough. I don't know if K-Bar would honor their warranty on it because they don't make them anymore. So if you break one, they might just tell you to fly a kite. It's fairly likely. Dollar for dollar value for what you're getting with the BK20 is the worst out of the bunch. And since you can't get it anymore, maybe ever, I'm not going to talk about it too much more other than that. It's a cool blade, guys. Honestly, the BK20 and the BK29 are probably the most versatile, best blades that Becker has ever made. I don't feel as comfortable doing fine work with it as I do with the BK9 or with some of these other knives. Actually, on fine work, to me, it's probably the least comfortable knife here. But with that being said, if this is the knife that you bought and you got used to it, that would pretty much go away. I have no doubt that this knife has the potential to do the fine work of any of these other knives. It's just, right now, it's not working as well for me. But I don't understand how K-Bar put these blades out and sold them out, I feel like pretty quickly, and then never brought them back. It's kind of weird. 1095 Crow Van, that's 170-60 Sheridan, actually. The same as Carbon V and Cases, I don't remember what they call it. It's just a very classic American steel. So, K-Bar, make more of these. It's great. Now, as far as chopping, you know, I'm going through this pretty quick, but I don't understand, you know, why it didn't do as well as I'd expected. And the Dark Timber Kodiak, which weighs much, much less, tied this knife. So, I don't know, guys, but when I have this thing out in the woods, it feels like a monster. Just straight up, got a lot of power behind it. All right, guys, the Skrama. The Skrama from Varusteleka. I believe this is Jari Puko is the brand, but I can never remember the brand. I just know that I get it from varusteleka.com. To start off with fine work. The Skrama is very nice and it's unique. I'm going to try and show it to you up close in that it has a higher bevel or micro bevel near the end, a more near the edge, near the finger, whatever, a more acute angle, a thinner edge. And that's pretty doggone cool. I actually found it to be a little bit awkward though when doing my fine work, because when the edge would transition from what I understand is a fairly normal edge and edge thickness to a thinner edge, it would bite deeper. So I'd go across from my feather sticks, I'd have it fine, and then it would bite deep and want to dig. I could certainly get used to it. The knife is just downright phenomenal. This is probably the best value knife. I'd say it's tied on value with the Junglas. Here's why. It's like 80 or 90 bucks shipped to the US from Finland in 80 CRV2. You get this sheath. It's nothing to get crazy about, to write home about, whatever, but it does the job. It's alright. There are a few things that are completely unique about the Skrama. It has really a true two-position handle for between fine work and chopping. All around a great blade. Now, I say it's probably tied for best value for Junglas. The sheath isn't quite as good. It is cool that the knife is 80 CRV2. It's probably one of the best knife steels in the production market today. Oddly enough, it's also the only knife that I have out here that has a microchip on the edge there. And probably shouldn't have chipped. It probably should have rolled. That's very surprising to me for 80 CRV2 because I've got a good bit of experience with it. So I might go out on a limb and say it's a little bit on the hard side or a little bit brittle. But, you know, we won't know until we really put this knife through its paces. You know, it's this. If someone has $100 or less to spend on a survival, bushcraft, one-tool option, whatever knife, I don't know that you're going to beat the Skrama. Now, they don't have the warranty of the Esee. They're not as big a company. You don't have as many options for aftermarket options. The handle material is nice. It's harder than, say, what Ontario uses, or what, it's very similar to what Bussy or Scrapyard Knife Works or whatever uses. Maybe even a little harder than that. So, pretty darn good. Overall, guys, the Skrama is really, really popular right now. And it is because they're offering such an incredible value. These are made in Finland, by the way. As far as chopping, it tied for first place. I mean, it's got the length, it's got the reach. And when we talk about chopping, all of these knives are so close that some of the Kodiak and the BK20 tied for second place. In certain woods, I have no doubt that maybe they could win by a little bit. And in certain woods, the Junglas and the Skrama might perform even a little bit better than they did. But overall, they're all so close, guys. Skrama is definitely a good buy. Oh, and you can get these in 12C27 stainless, which I don't know of any other large chopper, production chopper that you can get in a tough stainless steel like that. So I'll probably have to try one of those out sometime. I'm going to look a little bit more into this chip, see if I might remember how it happened. And the only thing to do after that is going to be to abuse the crap out of this blade. Well, if you guys have watched this far, you either really like big choppy survival knives, or you've been waiting to see the dark timber Kodiak and hear my thoughts on it. This knife is certainly set apart from the rest for many reasons. This knife is made by the smallest company. Peter Kohler does custom knives, dark timber customs, but he's getting into mid-techs because he wants to be able to get what he thinks is proper knife designs and his style out to more people, and people eat it up. He can't make enough of these to keep up with the market. It's also different because it's the most expensive knife here, coming in about $400. You can't buy it right now. There will be another run of these blades. It's also different because it's in CPM 3V, so it's the only super steel out of this knife selection. Different for a lot of reasons. Custom Kydex is made by Grizzly Outdoors. Great Kydex, great package. And one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, retention in the sheath is good. One of the things I want to talk to you guys about is actually how incredible of a deal this knife is for $400. Now, someone watching this is going to be spitting their Cheerios out hearing that. But hear me out here. CPM 3 is crazy expensive. Making knives from a small shop is crazy expensive. Getting another small custom maker shop to do your Kydex is crazy expensive, as I know firsthand. Heat treat is more expensive. Throwing desert ironwood inlays into your handles is expensive. Sharpening by hand is expensive. You look at this knife for $400 in CPM 3V, and freaking Dave from Ultimate Survival Tips is selling a much smaller knife made out of D2 and absolutely inferior steel for $300. And I think if you get your sheath and all the accessories, I think it's like $500 for a knife that's ultimately a hunk of garbage. So when it comes to fine work with the Kodiak, this is my favorite knife of the bunch. The Junglas coming in second place. It's got what I want. It's got a nicely shaped handle. It's got this choil right here. Now I know people are going to be talking about these feather sticks. This wood is obviously way too wet for making nice feather sticks. I'm sorry guys. It is what it is. I realize it's crap. It is what it is. Now, what makes this steel so expensive? What makes CPM 3V so good? Well, this is a super steel knife. You'll notice that it did not win the chopping competition. It's the lightest knife of the bunch. It packs an incredible amount of performance for the weight, but it doesn't chop well because it's made out of super steel. Super steel is not some kind of magic that like micro vibrates at the edge and makes a blade chop through wood like a chainsaw. It's just metal. But what's special about CPM 3V is that you get an incredibly high toughness and edge holding, like say of maybe ADCR V2, maybe better, maybe worse, lateral toughness, incredibly tough blade with corrosion resistance. Knife steels are all a balancing act. You can't have everything. But the CPM 3V gets very close to accomplishing exactly that. It is more difficult to sharpen. It's a give and take, guys. But it is a phenomenal steel. The dark timber Kodiak is probably the lightest weight or smallest knife that I would consider, or any of these knives really are, the smallest, lightest weight knives that I would even look at to start replacing a small hatchet, to start actually being a one-tool option. And if you don't know what I mean by one-tool option and you think that one-tool options don't exist, I probably don't mean it in the way you think that I do. I'll do a video on it. But if it came down to relying on a single tool to do a task or job for whatever reason, any of these knives would be about as small as I'm going to go. Man, this is just a thing of beauty, guys. And incredibly versatile. Imagine this blade as a fighter, weighing only 16 ounces. Pokey, slashy. You can baton through a crap ton of wood. Corrosion resistant. You got the blade length for a crap ton of batoning. It's just great. Now, I do think that this sheath is a bit nicer than the Junglas sheath for retention. It's got a little bit nicer click in. Very little wiggle. I've actually never even noticed wiggle in here before. That's the first time. But straight up and down, you don't hear anything. Now, it's not as modular as the Junglas from the factory. Now, I know that Grizzly Outdoors makes stuff you can bolt to this. You can make it as modular, but from the factory, you just don't have the kind of options that you have with the Junglas sheath. So I put the sheath, and you don't have the adjustable retention. I put the sheaths as equal, essentially. I'm very impressed with this blade. I think that it sets a lot of standards. I hope that Peter can make another run of them soon. I hope that Peter can start making more knives in general. I want to wrap this up, guys. First, I'll say a few things. Sitting my butt on this Tent Smith butt tarp was very nice. I'm going to be using this a lot, and you'll see it. I'm going to start using it actually on an adventure trip tomorrow in Ohio. It is obviously waterproof wax canvas, not too heavy. It is a little bit bulky as compared to a thinner material, but nice for sitting your butt on. This is a prototype. I'm going to do a video on it, but it's got some things that will probably change coming in the future. You can make a seat out of it. You can make a pack out of it. It's a cool deal. It's a well-designed, cool little thing. At the end of the day, if I have less than $100, there's no debate on which knife I would choose, because there's only one knife here that's less than $100, and that's the Skrama. If I was spending my own money, would I buy the Junglas or the Skrama? I've changed my mind recently with this testing. I would buy the Junglas. The sheath is better. It's all made in America. I do prefer it for doing fine work. Esee's a bigger company that I trust to stand behind their product through any situation, and I don't know if that's going to be possible through these guys. And they are all the way over there in Finland. Versatility-wise, they're about the same, but I think that the Junglas is going to hit a little bit harder. Now, you can't buy a Kodiak right now, but if I was going to, okay, let's talk about realistic survival. 3 days and you get out of here. When people say that's not a realistic survival situation, look at the statistics. That is exactly what a realistic survival situation is. I can take this 3V knife out. It's not going to rust. It's not going to break, Lord willing. And it's going to keep at least some level of a working edge the whole time. The Esee Junglas might not keep a working edge the whole time, but it's going to be easier to sharpen. Same with the Skrama. So what am I going to take for a 3-day survival situation? I'm going to take the Kodiak. It's the lightest weight, and that's what it's going to come down to. Out of all of the strengths that these knives all have to offer, this is going to be the lightest weight, and it gives me more versatility as a fighting blade and a poking blade than anything else. And it's 3V. The fantasy, I'm going to survive for the rest of my freaking life in the woods with one knife that everybody on the internet says that they've done because they're really tough, but nobody can seem to prove. I'm probably going to take the Junglas, guys, because it's going to be easier to maintain that edge. not really a realistic situation. But as a caveat to that, if that kind of situation is on a tropical island in the ocean, then once again, we're going to go with the Kodiak because we have that corrosion resistance. All in all, guys, the Kodiak, the Skrama, the Junglas, each one of these knives is a tool that is an investment, and that's how it needs to be looked at. If I was going to buy one of these, I would buy any one and feel comfortable taking it with me on countless outings for decades to come, chopping up. Who knows? I use these things. I took this thing out to clear a trail today. I mean, just phenomenal knives, guys. So I think that I forgot to say a lot of things in this video, but it's already far too long of a video. What I'm going to do, I'm also going to put a link to the Hidden Woodsman in the description box below. Please subscribe. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you hate the video, go ahead and tell me. And I hope that you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.